Welcome back to Crossroads. I'm your host, Judy Davis, and we're happy to have with us today Sean Futch, who is the coordinator of Focus, and we also have Reverend Alan Newton with us, who is the coordinator of Focus Plus. Welcome back to Crossroads.
Thank you.
Now, during this segment, we'd like to learn a bit more about the services that Focus offers, and during the next segment, Focus Plus. So some of the services are the training modules that you provide to families that come in. What is the importance of those daily modules, and what are some of the topics that you share?
Well, so often people come into our program and we'll ask them what it is they want to do. And of course, one of the first things is employment. And that's a very important thing. However, what we find is that there's so many other issues that people have that they need to take care of before they get to employment, so that they are not only a great employee, but they're an employee who will have longevity in the workplace. Because if you have a lot of issues going on at home, it could be something as simple as not having proper child care for your child. Going into the workplace, for a mom especially, is going to be very, very difficult, with her mind on her children and if they're taken care of. So our modules are geared to stir up that stuff that's on the inside of you that you really want to take care of first, but you think employment is most important.
Oh, okay, all righty. Well, I was looking at some of the topics that you talk about, and two sessions did strike me. And one was a session on change. Why is this session dedicated to change?
Even the time that you spend within the Focus program, you begin to change. You begin to look at life differently. You begin to look at yourself differently. When you do that, you're changing, but also the people you go home to see the change in you. And so you need to know how to accept your change and how to deal with them who are looking at you change. And change is very difficult for people. So we want to talk about it so they can recognize the different signs and different things that will go on around them as well as in them when they're making a change. And change is for the good.
Okay. So change basically impacts the whole family.
It impacts everybody.
Impacts everyone. And also you did talk about the topic of grief. And I was wondering, what does grief have to do with moving towards self-sufficiency?
Alan, you want to answer that?
I was thinking of grief, but also all the other emotions of hurt and anger. Grief, they think of all the times that they've tried and they haven't been able to succeed. Or they think of, dealing with emotions over the losses they've experienced personally in their lives. And they become debilitating for them. And, you maybe tell some of the stories in terms of where that's impacted, in terms of hearing from them. But
yeah, I mean, like you said, even losing a job. We've had people who come into our program with bachelor's degrees and they're no longer employed, and they were employed for a long time. That's a major loss, to go from being self-sufficient to now I don't have anything, or I'm possibly going to have to rely on social services. That's a grief that you're going to have to go through, the loss of something. And they all come in some type of loss that they have to get over. And it's also a part of that change. You'll find that all of our modules connect in some way. A change happened. You lost something. You're grieving it, but you also have to accept that that change happened and move forward.
So not only do you create a safe environment, as we talked about in the last segment, but a safe environment emotionally also, where people can talk and get assistance.
It's so important. So important to deal with our emotions, because they're like the center, the foundation of everything else that goes on in our lives. And if we can't get that under control, everything else is really difficult and hard to manage.
I've also expressed that there's been a willingness for them and an interest to approach the spiritual needs that they have during the time when they're in the books. They really commend the program for being able to have the freedom to do that.
That's right.
Oh, okay. All right. So in addition to the daily modules, you also provide employment assistance. What type of assistance is available through Focus?
Well, we love doing mock interviews. Especially if we don't tell them that we're going to do a mock interview that day. We just say, you walk in and I'll go in the back and say, I have a job available and I would like to interview you, and you in 1 hour. So we do a lot of mock interviewing. We also help with resume writing, cover letters, as well as thank you letters after an interview. We try to hit all the points and all the things that people tend to forget to do when they're looking for a job or applying for one.
Okay. Now, Focus is also a part of a larger organization. The umbrella is Action for a Better Community.
Correct.
So, do Focus participants have access to ABC services as well?
Definitely. We have a Head Start program. We also have a program called New Directions, which is a drug and alcohol rehabilitation program. We have Action Front, which deals with HIV education for youth and adults. We also have the Work Development Program. Now, one of the things that's happening right now, we're at the end of our fiscal year. On October 1st, we start a new year.
Oh, okay.
And so we're real excited at ABC to be merging some programs together. Focus being one of them. We're going to merge with the Job Readiness Program or the Workforce Development Program. We will be called the Family Self Sufficiency Program. A lot of the services that we currently offer at Focus will still be available. However, it's going to come with even more services. So now we have a job readiness component that's going to be much stronger than the one we currently have at Focus, as well as the income tax assistance program that would be available to those same clients. So we're really excited about the move. And again, we will be moving from the Main Street location to 49 Stone Street, which is also great because it's right downtown right near the bus loop. So,
And that's as of
this
October?
is October 1st.
October
Yes, ma'am.
1st.
It also kind of mirrors a change in Department of Human Services too, which is now creating their emphasis on self-sufficiency. So they're now identifying themselves as a priority of self-sufficiency.
And how would you define self-sufficiency? A person that we're moving towards that, what would be?
Being able to take care of yourself without assistance and being proud of that.
Okay. Well, thank you. We're going to take a
You're
break
welcome.
here. During the next segment, we're going to learn about how you, the audience, can help, and we're also going to learn about Focus Plus. So come back.